bandits.
Yeah.
So it's not just fighting the bandits.
Mm-mm.
Just as you said, the communal, a part of it. What happens after they've had their issues, defending themselves from the bandits,
Mm-hmm.
then you now come back to that community where you are.
Mm-mm.
Then how do you disarm them after that? Are you thinking that lives might be lost as a result of still
Of that,
having
yeah.
those self-protection with them? And so if the governors are helpless, I always think that there's always an opportunity for each governor to have discussions at the federal level.
Okay.
If the solutions they are bringing on board is not working,
Mm-hmm.
they should have, discussions with those at the, because what it means is that they are out of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is out of control and they need more urgent support from the federal government. And it's not when these news reports happen that you now find the federal government running helter-skelter to
Mm-hmm.
see how they want to salvage the situation. It's just like crying over spilled milk. With so many cries about, oh, defend yourself because this issue is getting out of hand, with so much calling out from the governors in those northern parts, can't the federal government really come to their rescue? If a government is not proactive enough,
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a big problem. So it's also coming to it's like calling the attention of the federal government. It's not just reading the report.
Yeah.
They are aware of what is going on, but these governors are making it known now that since we are helpless, this is what
This
we
is
are
what we're going
trying
to
to
do.
do. But is it in the best interest of everyone in that community? So that's just what I feel. So it's time the federal government come to their rescue. Let's see some other additional solutions that they can bring on board to help the situation. Because the situation is definitely not going away and the problem still continues. Are we going to allow this to go into the new year? I think it will really be sad because a lot of lives will definitely be lost.
Yes. So I saw a report somewhere, I think 2 days ago. It was trying to do like a scorecard of Nigeria's um efforts in fighting insecurity. And reading through that report, trust me, a whole number of people have lost their lives this year.
A whole lot.
A whole lot. And we're still getting reports like this. And we're having to ask the governors, maybe there's some kind of synergy, maybe they need to come to have conversations to synergize or something. So sometimes this year I was in Meduguri twice, and the first time I had to go there, somewhere part of me was like, all of the reports you've been hearing, the dailies, you still want to go there. Another part of me was like, let me even go and see for myself what's going on there. So I went there, having conversations with people who have been living there, people who were there in the main heat of the insurgency and all of that. They were telling me how they find it very, very hard to come out. Sometimes you come out in the afternoon, there's barely anybody on the road. How scared people were for their lives. People would stay indoors for days without food because they could not even step out to come and get something and all. And it just opened my eyes to see that for states who relatively had it good, no cases of insecurity, you probably would think, oh, it's happening somewhere, it's not getting close to this place. But look at what we're also having to face in the southeast as well. The southeast also, to an extent, they've had their I don't want to say
Share of
fair share,
it.
they've had their own share of all of these killings in this year. Yes, I know some people will say, oh, it's IPOB will come back to say, no, this particular attack was not us. But we keep seeing all this kind of reports just in recent times. I'm talking about the proposed 5 day sit at home in Ebonyi State. Then later they came back to say it was one Simon Ekpa who was having to mobilize people to do this, but it wasn't going to hold. All of these reports get people agitated. You don't feel free enough to move around in your own country. And it is a challenge. It is a challenge, not because we have the elections coming ahead, but day-to-day living of people have been affected. Go to the market now, the prices of things are just everywhere. The economic effect, so many things having to go together at a time.
At the
Trust
same
me when I
time.
say Nigerians are happy people, because some of the things that we have to go through, if you have to sit and talk about each of them, you probably will just wear a gloomy face all through
All
the day.
day long.
But we still find a way to still make things happen for ourselves, which is a very good thing that I commend Nigerians' resilience. Like somebody was saying the other time that sometimes he wonders if Nigerians their resilience, if it's a good thing or a curse, because sometimes it just makes us very like, okay, it has happened, let's just move on. Nobody's actively saying or doing anything about it, and it is a challenge.
I mean, you said something earlier while you were, giving us this analysis, and I feel like we can take a cue from what just happened in this Lagos Ibadan Expressway. I mean, people were talking, people were saying something, then it took the effort of 3 governors coming
put
together to
together.
say, let's do something on this route. So I think other states do the same thing. They share boundaries. A state like Niger shares boundary with Sokoto. So they can come together and do something
Mm.
in the boundaries, fix people there. It cannot be one person. If one governor is saying, let me mind, it is becoming overwhelming for them. Because at this point, it looks like they don't know what they want to do again. And it's
They've
just like
exhausted
they are
all
the crossroad.
ideas.
And what they are just waiting for is let this 2023 just come and let me go.
And even look at the issue of legacy. People have their source, they have their origin in those communities. According to the governor, he was saying communities have existed for over 500 years. How do you allow someone to just encroach in your territory, destroy properties, destroy people's lives, and they just get away? No justice, no prosecution, no arrest, nothing, and it just goes like that. I think it's really sad because we are not building a future. We are not encouraging the children that have been left behind to say, oh, this is the future of your community. This is where you are coming from. We are destroying the legacy that has been built for such long years. And I think it's not just affecting the economy of those communities. It's just their heritage is gone. Everything about their origin is gone. And that is really the most devastating part of it. We can't eradicate our history. We can't eradicate where we come from. Our source, because of some irresponsible citizens who have refused to allow peace to reign in our country. And that's why it should be intentional. It is something that the governors, just as you said, those in the different boundaries, they should come together. The government, it is now that the government should arise and up their game. It's not when people have been destroyed or lives have been destroyed, and then you now come running because you want to save the day. I think then it will be too late. So I think when we look at all this, it is time the federal government arises and do something urgent. We can't continue to push everything and say, oh, the governors, they are not doing anything. The communities, what are they doing? What is the part of the federal government? Allocations are given into these different issues. What are they doing? What new things can they do? What strategies can they put up? Because it seems the bandits, they are always up their game.
And it's more like they see it just before you bring it on. So they're already defensive. They already know what to do because they know that you're bringing this on board. They know what to do. I just really do wish that the federal government can, ace up this game and do something to save these people. I mean, these people, I'm sure if they have a place to go, they would have scattered all over the place.
We cannot have people moving around. Still, this year, I was at an event where we're talking about the indigenous peoples of Abuja, of how government policies, urban movements, and all of that have made the indigenous people of Abuja move. So now when you go to Abuja, just like the way we see Lagos and be like, oh, they say Lagos no man's land. Same way. I mean, to an extent, I didn't even know that there were people who were originally from Abuja. I just used to see Abuja like, okay, Federal Capital Territory and all of that. But having that conversation that day, there were people who their original land, they are from that place. So now having to move around because of different things, and now we're talking about insecurity, that's how you see people who are originally from Nasarawa State having to move to another state. And before you know, somebody is starting up their own family there, and you will tell your children, you are from this state now, this is where you are from. You've lost all of your connection with your everything. And these are issues that we keep talking about over time. And before you know it, you start hearing things like, oh, so it was when something happened. We still have a lot of people from the southeast who are displaced right now. You hear things like, oh, your forefathers were from Imo State, but now they settled somewhere in River State. All of those kind of conversations. We cannot keep losing our history because we are unable to face issues, pertinent issues of the day.
I just hope someday we wake up to a Nigeria where we have peace, no insecurity, love, and of course, patriotism. All right, let's move away from that one to this other one you'll find on the Punch newspapers. This one is kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of interested in this one. So UK meeting, aggrieved PDP governors demand Tinubu's support in 5 states. The 5 aggrieved People's Democratic Party governors have demanded the support of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu for the PDP governorship and senatorial candidates in their respective states. It was gathered on Thursday that this was part of the conditions presented to Tinubu during his meeting with the PDP governors in London, United Kingdom, on Tuesday. Now, in attendance at the meeting, we have the governors Nyesom Wike, Seyi Makinde, Okezie Ikpeazu, Samuel Ortom, and Ifeanyi Ugwai of Enugu State. We have other people at the meeting as well. We have people like Donald Duke, Jonah Jang, Olusegun Mimiko, former governors of Cross River, Ondo, and Plateau State, as well as a board of trustee member, Chief Bode George. Now, they are all still defiant in their call for the removal of Chair Ayu as the national chairman of the party. A reliable source disclosed that the 5 governors were concerned about their political from Tinubu. Wike is not contesting for any position in the 2023 elections. He was said to be contesting protege, Simini Lai Fubara, who is the River State PDP governorship candidate. Now, let me from on the other hand, Makinde is running for the second term, while Autumn will be contesting as the Benue Northwest Senatorial District candidate in the polls. Now, Ikpeazu is the PDP candidate for Abia South Senatorial District, and Ugwai is running for the Enugu North Senatorial District. Now, if we look at this report, it looks like these 5 people have their aspirations. Wike is not going for anything, but from the look of it, Wike is the head of the G5 governors group.
Not necessarily head, but he's been very, very vocal.
Yes.
You know how he can be when he wants to say his things. Yeah.
So now, they all have their ambition. They all have something they are rooting for. Looking at this on the table, APC has candidates for all of these positions.
In this state
and all of these positions they are also vying for. Now, these people coming together to say that, okay, this is what we want. We want these positions. We will support you for 2023 ambition.
And we also want you to support us.
And we also, yes, it's more like barter. Like you would release these states while we also come together to pool resources, pool votes for you come 2023.
Why now, I find this very, very interesting.
This is my concern. Now, for people who are turning against their platform, their original platform, to come all of a sudden to say, give us this, we'll give you this.
And you are still contesting on that platform.
And you're still contesting on that same platform. Do you think their loyalty should be, I don't know.
There's something that's not adding up.
Exactly.
It's
like,
not adding up
what
somewhere.
is really happening? And do you also think somebody like Bola Ahmed Tinubu would say, okay, you people are coming 2 months to election. You want me to dump these people?
To support
you. I know a state like River State Wike has a state like River State. But how about other states? I mean, this 5 states,
it is politics. You cannot be too sure that Wike has the whole of River State covered. It is politics.
From this 5 states, are they enough to bring as the presidents? So these are just all of the thoughts running in my head. And now it means that if Tinubu is saying yes to this, it means somebody like Folari would not have the opportunity in Oyo State. It means people in other states aspiring for senatorial seats
in APC
won't have this platform.
Trust me, there's going to be a lot of conflict if that happens.
What is going to happen?
And it also means that are they going to throw their own people under the bus?
Exactly.
For example, people in Rivers, Plateau, and Benue. You know, it's so funny the way politics in Nigeria is.
Honestly, very funny.
And, you know, we've said it over time. When the electorate have the mandate, when they decide, you know, to say, this is who we want to govern us.
Sure.
Then you will know that you would have made a landslide in politics in Nigeria. But when we are still, you know, rattling and thinking, oh, how is it going to look like if we put people under the bus? If we decide to, okay, let's give our decision or our vote to this particular person in favor of this. You're also thinking, even after doing this, what becomes of the people? If we are not deliberate, if we are not intentional about change, if we are not focused on where we want this country to go to, if we are not determined to say we want these changes, I think we will continue to go round in a circle. And that's why we are at this point, deciding what favors the people, deciding what favors the political parties, deciding what favors the candidates. So everything is running round together. But the whole concept should be deciding where this country goes and how democracy benefits its people. But it seems that is not what we are seeing right now.
Talking about
Nigeria politics. And no, we've weighed the different options right here. But at the end of the day, what becomes of all this? And what it simply means is that there is a particular section that of this G governor that is saying, let's throw the baton, to Tinubu to take over. But in return, let's have this. And just as you have said also, is it possible? Is this something that is workable? Because what it means, aspirants or candidates on the APC platform, they have a lot to lose.
Yes.
Once this agreement is reached, a lot of them will have a lot to lose. Are they really willing to lose that because of one candidate? Or are there still some things, some nitty-gritty somewhere, hidden agenda somewhere that we don't know about? Of course, we don't always know the end game, that will play out after all this. And so that's why we as electorate, as citizens of this country, when we are bringing our own vote on the table, when we want our vote to count, there are so many things we should look at. We should look beyond today's election or tomorrow's election or 2023 election. We should look at the future, what becomes of us after the election. And then also think back, when we don't make the right choice or the right decision, what becomes of our generation? What becomes of this country? The political parties, to them, is just a game. They want to win, and some will definitely lose. But at the end of the day, who does it favor most? Is it them or us? Or do they determine what goes on in the 4 years for this country? Or we are the ones that should, determine that? And that's what I see playing out here. It's a little bit tricky, but at the end of the day, what becomes of this country? What becomes of you and I, where we keep on complaining about the situation of this country? Our choice will determine it all, whether it's positively, whether it's going to bring change, or whether we'll remain stagnant where we are and we'll keep on talking and talking until God knows when.
Well, all right. I think this is more like an indication that these people who are out there to say we want to represent you, they are all for themselves. I mean, coming to say, okay, we are willing to denounce our party, we're willing to, support you and push you there. Just for us to have our own position sealed, regardless of what the people think, regardless of who the people want. This is just a reminder again that these people coming out to say they want to represent us. Let's ask them, how many of them are willing to come and do the bid of the people? How many of them are willing to be selfless? How many of them are really coming to that position because of the masses? It's a question we should ask ourselves.
You see, taking a cue from what you've said, I noted this part out as we're taking that report. So we have in this report now, yes, I know Makinde is running for a second time in Oyo State. Fine. Now we have Autumn, who will be contesting as the Benue Northwest Senatorial District candidate.
Yes.
We have Okezie Ikpeazu as the PDP candidate for Abia South Senatorial District. Ugwuanyi of Enugu State is running for the Enugu North Senatorial District. I'm just wondering, what happened to when people serve a particular term in politics
and then go
in
sit
office,
somewhere?
just go and allow other people do stuff. Allow people run it with fresh ideas and all. But it seems as though for everybody that leaves a particular position, you are moving on to the next where you are going to
governorship seat. I think
you are going to retire at the Senate. What exactly is going on?
Senate as their retirement plan.
But it should not be.
They want to rule the state for 8 years. I mean, I just hope we can have a Nigeria where somebody would say, after these 4 years, I'm done. I will
leave. Let me watch people. Let me watch people with fresh ideas do something. Let it feel different. Because trust me, I know experience matters in politics. The kind of engagement you have with people, grassroots, and all of that. But new ideas, new stuff come out every single day. I was listening to somebody talk the other day, and the person said, sometimes you think you know it all until you actually go and sit with people who are actually being affected by whatever it is you want to address. Sometimes you're talking about rural women and how to solve their plight. It is not at that table where you make decision that the ideas will come from. Go and talk to them, ask them. The common person you see on the street or your security personnel at your gates that you think, oh, this person has no idea about anything. Engage them in conversation sometimes, and you'll be amazed at the kind of ideas that they have. Is it refined? No. Is it something you want to look into? Yes. Because with your own wealth of knowledge and your expertise, you can make it better.
Yes.
But when we have people sitting in the same office over time, over and over again, it's not adding up.
Again, it is a subtle reminder that these people are not majorly for the masses. And I'm putting this out there so that come 2023, you don't go out there to say, oh, I want to fight for this person. Oh, this person should come in. They don't really care about you. Don't go and lose your life because of anybody. Go
That's why
out there
we
and
keep speaking
do
against
your
electoral
right.
violence. Yeah.
Vote wisely. Don't sell your vote because of anybody.
Mm-mm.
Because regardless of who you are bringing in now, whoever you are bringing in, most of them are just basically concerned about themselves. So please vote wisely and don't allow anybody to use you as a miscreant. Don't allow anybody to use you as a political thug. This is something we should keep talking about.
Yeah.
And this is an example, a practical one. They are all for themselves. Nobody cares about you as a citizen.
And to add to that also, yes, experience definitely matters.
Yeah.
But let it be experience valid. Activeness of whoever it is that's taking over that position.
Yeah.
Don't just spend experience on 4-year term, 8-year term, doing nothing for your people, not serving selflessly, just thinking about yourself.
Alone.
So when we talk about experience, let it be experience that can be supported with achievement.
Yes.
Oh, the experience this person has while he was there, he did something for the people, he was able to make impact.
He brought value
You
on
know,
board, or she brought
there's
value
a
on board.
lot he has changed, during his tenure. Because yes, when we even mention the fact that, oh, there are some that they didn't even do anything, there's always a way to weigh these options. But we are saying that if you have been there one time, let it show that you were actually there.
Yeah.
If you were there 2 times, let it show to the people
Let's see
that
the
you
result.
brought in something. Not that you'll be there, just occupying seats, just feeling that it has now become what my people will call Oyedile. It's not. I mean, this is politics. So people have the right to decide if, based on your achievement or your legacy, what you have done, let them be encouraged to say, oh, this person has actually done this within 4 years. We think he can do better in the next 4 years. And people feel, oh, this person has not really served us well. That's actually the reason why we gave him our mandate to him. Then it's time for him to pack up and go. Let's have someone that will bring something new on board, something that will actually impact our lives.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always say, let it not be a do or die affair.
Affair, yeah.
If you have been there and you have done good, of course, people will be encouraged and they want
But
to give you
if
more
not?
support. But if not, I mean, don't just sit there and take the seat as if it belongs to you. Let someone else come in and take charge of things and do
fresh
much
ideas.
better than what you have also done.
All right. Thank you so much,
Again,
Adetonwa
it's
Adebogun.
2023. Make the right decision. I think the onus lies on us as individuals, as
Electorate.
citizens. They can map out whatever they want to map out. They can form their alliances, do whatever it is they want to do. But the final decision lies with us. Who do you want to vote for? Are you questioning them? Are you even asking the right questions? Are you looking at their antecedents? What are they ready to do for us? Are they putting our love in their hearts, or they are just there for them, for their pockets and people who
Their
are
own
loyal
interest.
to them? So you need to ask all of these questions. Don't just go out there and say, "Oh, who is Esther voting for? Esther is voting for. I will follow that person." Or I will. No. You should be
Yeah, I
able to
get
stand
it.
and make your own
Decisions, yeah.
and vote wisely. See, whatever decision you make now, your children would take out of it. You will take out of it. Is the truth.
Yeah.
Is it because
get
the
it.
decisions that were made 8 years ago, we are bearing the brunt now.
Yeah.
So ensure to make the right decision. This is important.
All right. Thank you so much, Blessing, for that. It is 10 minutes past 8 on your Women Radio WFM 91.7, and this is the newspaper review. The newspaper review is where we get to review the dailies across different Nigerian newspapers, and we get to analyze them together. Send in your comments, your contributions, 070 317 56537 070 317 56537. Text and WhatsApp message WFM917.com to listen from any part of the world. You can also download the app WFM917. Reading some of your messages here, we have this one from OK Monday Naripo. This one says, "Good morning, WFM." Yes, good morning. And he says, "Thank God we witnessed the last WFM newspaper review from Val Okachi." This one says, "Happy New Year in advance to Pretty Aditon, Pretty Blessing, and Dazzling Esther. Good morning, thank you. LOL at the organized commotion in the house this morning, lady." God bless you, ladies, for keeping us abreast of contemporary issues in Nigeria and across the globe. Thank you so much for this. We really appreciate your kind comment. Timothy says, "Good morning, dear presenter. If there is anything the CBN governor is doing wrong, the court of law should let him answer questions and not shield him unnecessarily as such action to the detriment of the masses. We cannot continue to have leaders who cannot be questioned. The president should wade in if the anti-graft and security bodies are pestering the CBN governor unnecessarily. Good leaders do not fall from heaven. They are raised among people. Bad followers will never produce good leaders. Yes, I'm sure you know who has that message. Rusenja Mutia from Alakbere. All right, this one is from Olushoga Ajayi Nikorodu. This one says, a legend never dies. Though people become immortal through their impact, Pele is bigger than death. It was his body that gave way for his impact to live on. Live on, Pele. There is no goodbye for people like you because you will always be in our face, in our ears, in our minds, and on our lips. Rest on, legend of the game. Yes, so Brazilian footballer last night having done so much, I saw a lot of videos, documentary talking about Pele. And growing up as a child, I think I heard that name so much from my father. So much talking about Pele, football. And yeah, he's been ill for a while. I remember one time, I think about 2 weeks ago or so, he had to be moved
Yeah.
to a particular
And he
home
even
to
made a
just take
video
care.
recently,
Yes,
like a
to
few days
just
ago.
ensure that he's fine. But now we don't want to say he's gone because his legacy is definitely going to live on. We're having to see big stars, big names in the football industry having to make posts and make comments about him. So you can tell that Pele really made an impact. And that's one thing we should also always strive to do. Just think about it. Is there anybody who would think about you today and say, because of this person, I am? Because of this person, I was able to do this. There are a couple of people that they might not be the best persons when you look at their character and
Of
all,
course.
but whenever you mention their name, they always have a warm spot in my heart, regardless of whatever people think about them or what people say about them. But I might feel a certain way about them too, but that place, you cannot just take it out from them that this person, no, at least for this one, give them this credit. So think about it. What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered for?
I'm always of this opinion that nobody's going to get out of here alive. So when you are gone, what will people say about you? And I think you should even have that at the back of your mind every day as you set out. Know that, okay, so going out there is a risk. It is grace we enjoy, going out and coming in. So live your life. Be deliberate about living.
Yeah.
Because when you are gone, what will people say about you?
True.
Would you even have people who would say, oh, wow, God, why? Why did you do this to us? Do you even have people like that? Or do they say, good riddance?
Please, nobody
No, you
say
should
good
ask
riddance,
yourself.
please.
No, you should really ask yourself.
Yeah, we still have this message here. This one is from Additional Wasiu Nikodu. This one says, good morning to you guys in the studio. Yes, good morning. This insecurity in Nigeria has taken an alarming dimension because if you check the killing ongoing in the northwest, it is also ongoing in the southeast. Is this how we're going to keep continue losing life of citizens? This is my question. Why is the Nigerian government refusing to decentralize our security apparatus by giving each state control to control their own police, like Amotekun is doing in the southwest? On the G5 governors, if the 5 governors work for the other party, nothing will happen to them in PDP. If PDP expels them, it's going to be another problem for PDP because an executive governor is important. I know PDP knows the implications of losing 5 governors. Okay, so Adeton, reacting to this particular one, does it mean that PDP now should be in a space where they might not be able to give out penalty to these governors because you don't want to lose all 5 of them? You're just going to try to have conversations with them, even though we can see that they are erring based on their party policies.
Well, I don't see it that way.
Okay.
And just as I mentioned, there are some things that we are not privy to. It could be the way I even see it is like, let's weigh our options.
Okay.
Let's see if this will actually pass. And getting the response even from the side of Tinubu, it's been said that he cannot actually be put under such conditions. And they will not. In fact, one of the statements I read, said it's not going to be a thing of when we get to the bridge we'll cross. They even said that no, we can decide not to cross that bridge even when we get there. So that's also something that we also need to be cautious about. So as I mentioned, it's just a game of politics. At the end of the election, what happens? What becomes of this, whether it's association or conflicts or whatever it is they're dragging, but what becomes of us as citizens of this country? What becomes of this country, Nigeria, after that? So it's a game, it's a strategy, but let's see how it's going to play out. Yes.
Okay. All right. We still have some more messages here. This one is from Valo Kachi again. He says, politicians in Nigeria are the most confused set of people on the face of the earth. No ideologies, no beliefs, no focus, no integrity. Well, to Edson Arantes do Nascimento Pele, the king of soccer, finally takes a bow. He remains the greatest player that has ever lived in the tide of times, a true legend and a pride to the black race. May the Lord grant his soul eternal rest. Particular one actually shook a lot of people, seeing the report everywhere. Pele's face was everywhere. Rest his soul, bless him for his impact while here on earth. All right, blessing, going into another headline this morning.
All right, I have this one. You'll find newspapers. This one says Bolanle Rahim, MBA seeks 5 billion naira compensation for slain lawyer's family. The Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, has said it will be seeking monetary compensation family of Mrs. Omobolanle Rahim from the government of Lagos State, the federal government, the Nigeria Police Force, and the Police Service Commission through its Human Rights Committee. Precisely, the NBA, in a statement issued by Lagos lawyer and human rights activist Ebunolu Adegbolua, disclosed that in of the killer cop Superintendent Drambi Vandi, it would also be seeking for 5 billion naira compensation for the family of the deceased. Also, yesterday, Lagos State Governor Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu stressed that there would be no cover-up in the and prosecution of the culprits involved in the murder of the late lawyer who was killed on Christmas Day by a police officer. Now, besides, the NBA stated that it would partner with the Ministry of Justice during the trial of the killer cop. If you recall, the late Rahim was shot in the Aja area of Lagos inside her car while she was returning from an outing with her family on Sunday, December 25, 2022. Now, Adetun, looking at this, do you think this compensation is enough to bring smiles to the faces of the families of the late
Omobolanle
Rahim?
Well, let me start by saying that we pray that the Almighty God will comfort the family at this time. And bring back someone that's died. And you can't measure life with money. But as it's been said in this report, it says monetary compensation. And I'm sure this will go a long way to support the family in maybe the burial arrangement. If she has children or kids she left behind, it will help to support them. And I'm also looking at it from the angle that probably she has some aged parents that through this trying time they would be supported, not just financially, mentally, psychologically. They need all the support they can get. So I'm seeing it from the angle of this money just to at least support the family in different areas that the need will arise. But looking at the fact that I think one thing that I take away from this report is the support the governor of Lagos State is giving towards this of this officer, and saying that no stone will be left unturned, and giving his determination to see through or to make sure that this trial goes according to it having justice been served. I'm also particularly happy that we have lawyer Ebun Oluwa, representing the NBA concerning this case, which is really good for me. And I say that because you don't find in a country where there's so much compromise, where there's so much corruption, there's so much, lack of integrity, you don't find where you have someone, saying, oh, even if it's a pro bono, I feel that it is well deserved, for Eboluwa to say, I want to be a part of it. I want to raise my voice concerning this. And I think it's really good. I was even looking somewhere in the report where I could see the Federation of Women Lawyers coming up to say, okay, this is what we're also going to lend our voice towards getting justice done. And it's not because she's a lawyer. I'm sure.
So just what you just mentioned, I have a message from Rosanja for that. And it says, NBA are all guns out because it happened to one of them. Does it mean the life of the ordinary man does not count? Until we make equal laws for the rich and the poor, the educated and illiterate, nothing may change for good, as all have the same blood running through us. Yes, we had this conversation, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and somebody also mentioned that NBA is all out because it is one of theirs. And I had to set it like, it's not just about the NBA is all out, because I mean things happen and we see people come out, even CSOs coming out to speak up against it. No life is more important than the other. But yes, we are seeing more of the NBA because this is a member of the association. So yes, it's something that is expected. So no life is more important than the other.
And additionally, you also look at it that this would be an indictment on our justice system if justice is not served. And it will also show us, or going forward, let's see it as a way of saying, if an ordinary Nigerian, should have gone through this, how should we support an ordinary Nigerian who has, in quote, no name, there's no status attached to that person. How do we take up to ensure that justice is served? And I'm particularly happy to say that, one role that the media plays is that the media does not look at it whether you're from the elite group or you are from they try to project what people need to understand about a particular issue. And if it were to be a doctor, if it were to be maybe anybody from anywhere, of course you will hear about it. Yes, you can say that we don't hear most of all these
or maybe
things
the
that
attention
happen.
is what you're trying to say.
Yes, but yes, attention has to be focused on her because it's NBA. It has to do with our justice system, and the governor is interested, just as I'm particularly, going to commend the governor of Lagos State so far, in his tenure, the attention he places on things like this that happen, his proactiveness to lend his voice, to lend his support to every of these issues that has to do with humanity. I commend the governor of Lagos State for that. And I say that because every other governor in this country can actually emulate that. Let it not be when it has to do with those that you know. Let it also be that when it has to do with human lives, the people you are meant to govern, be proactive enough, if not for any other thing you've done in your entire tenure, be proactive enough to raise your voice concerning something that you see is becoming in a society. And as a governor, you are saying justice must be served. If that, give it to the governor of Lagos State. And I also look at it from the angle of, it's not just that NBA is coming out because she's a lawyer or she's a member of NBA, Lagos chapter. I don't think that is it. It's just a way of us saying that anything that has to do with our security personnel after the aftermath of what happened with the NSAS, everyone should be concerned. The justice system should be concerned. We had those who came out, sat in a panel to give victims who had actually faced a lot. They gave them compensation. We had states, who stood by that, rewarded the families. It's not because those that have gone can come back, but it shows us that
some kind of closure.
There's a kind of narrative changing when it comes to justice system, and that is why you have taken somebody's life. I think I was listening a few days ago on newspaper review where someone said he has murdered somebody, he should also be murdered. If you look at the Constitution, that is basically what the Constitution says. You kill somebody, you go by it. It has no. It is not whether you are in the security arm of the government. It's not because you are.
Nobody should be treated differently.
You shouldn't be. The law is for every one of us, and so we should also be reminded of that justice should be served. And I think that is what is happening right now.
All right. We have this message from Damian. This one says, when you step on mighty toes fight back. Emefiele should take a cue from Magus and Waziri's situation. As the alleged killer police officer, he should be disciplined. Investigation is finalized before further action is taken against him, so he serves as a deterrent to other errant police officers. Okay, so it is time to go on the newspaper review
just before that,
this morning.
A little bit reaction to that. There's a development as regards that one. The IGP has ordered that the killer cop be suspended.
Yes, suspension. We're talking about dismissal. Because what
the investigation.
Yes, but we want him to be dismissed. That's what. So when you know that you do something like this and how many years of service is on the line? I mean, this particular officer has been in service for 33 years. Imagine throwing away 3 years of your life
and
just because self-control did not come place. So you can imagine how that is. So all right, on the newspaper review this morning. So today's newspaper review giveaway, we're going to be giving one to the most consistent listener contributor via the text line, then most contributor for the year 2020 via the WhatsApp line. And this giveaway is coming courtesy of Itunuza Foods, Gilga Foods, Dalco Communications, Grandma Foods, Aduke Enterprises, Nessa Organic, Modra Foods, J&J Healthy Lifestyle, Barbara Collections, Dambo's Food, and Yaniwura Itonoza Foundation. So this is it. The most consistent contributor via the text line for 2022 is Damien. So yes, Damien, you won this one. Damien was active all through the year via the text line, sending his contribution every single day on the newspaper line. Damien, so yes, you have my heart. You have this one. So
Congratulations, Damien.
for the WhatsApp line, we have Rosendia with you.
Oh,
When you hear bad followers will never produce good leaders, you know where it is coming from. So yes, Rosendia was consistent all through 2022, sending us messages via the WhatsApp line. So you see, this is how we did at the end of the year. So let's do it. Let's make it bigger and better from 2020. And to every other person, you get to listen now, because I'm sure I'm not going to remember everybody. So I'm not going to do that. But you know very well that we at Women Radio 91.7, we appreciate your contributions, your comments. Be here every single morning to review the dailies or sending in your contribution. It is also amazing doing this all through 2020 with you. Yes, and we are thankful. We are so thankful. Thank you so much, Adito. From January up until this. Bless you, please. But you get it. You get the message. Thank you so much, Adito, for being with us this morning on the News Review. Thank you. And yes, thank you, Blessing. I look forward to doing this again with you in 2023.
Okay, yeah.
Pepe Body says okay, yeah. All right, people. There you have it on the Newspaper Review this morning. Do want to join us next year.
Good morning.
Have you been a victim of corruption? Do you want to report how corruption affects you and your community? Send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 537. To pass an important message, I searched over and over for one word that means compact, complete, ideal, perfect, and seamless at the same time. Well, I ended up with the phrase all in one. Yes, Whitel, the new all-in-one magic box from Spectranet. Portable